That's all.
Whispers from the Brighter World. Beloved Master, revered Babaji Maharaj. Thursday, January 4th, 2001, 10 a.m. Yes, my daughter, love your master. This scent pops out from sincere hearts towards him. Light and darkness are side by side and made such that life on earth remains unstable. It goes through these opposites that govern all days and sometimes make them almost unbearable. My son is a lonely man in spite of all fine feelings and love which he inspires. Wounds caused by his fellow creatures are almost unbearable, although they heighten the greatness of his mission. He knows the whole range of human feelings and he makes no mistakes about them. He can see them appearing in turn without being able to modify the characters and the behaviors. The soul coexists with human nature, which is different to correct, which is difficult to correct. No achievement, if only spiritual, is easily possible. Achievement is fostered by courage, abnegation, and sufferings. It is the edifice offered to the divine, whereby only the beauty of work becomes apparent. That is the way it goes. Only the purity of the edifice remains. Work towards this construction relentlessly with faith and love so that a rare gem can shine in the case that is your own life. Babaji.
Rami?
Sorry. A very good evening, sisters and brothers. It gives us great pleasure to welcome all to the welcome all to this 90-day challenge session today. It seems like we just started, but today marks the 78th day of the challenge, and all participants have been practicing like never before in an attempt to being that ultimate version of themselves. I'm Ramani, your host today. Last week, we were given an overview of the spiritual anatomy by Sister Uma. Today, we are fielding our own homegrown presenter, Sister Dr. Shanti, who would be zooming in on the topic of Koshas. Before I hand over to Sister Shanti, here is a brief introduction on her. Sister Dr. Shanti is a retired senior medical officer who served at various state hospitals and public health clinics, both in West and East Malaysia. In 1994, she settled in Malacca, and after she retired from government health service, she continued to work part-time in private clinics until 2012. Looking back, Sister Shanti says she had no real interest when she first heard about Sahajmak, but owes it to her mother's strong push when in 1981, her mother urged her to attend a gathering where Babaji was to be present. And so the journey began very slowly, almost unknowingly, with gentle prompting of the heart. For many years, Sister Shanti worked at places where there were no centers or preceptors available. But she continued with her practice. Sister Shanti expresses her eternal gratitude for her mother's precious gift. Sister Shanti has been a heartfulness trainer since 1998. The Malacca Center was established in her home the same year, making it available for mission activities. It was a very busy period with work, home duties with family, and having satsangs, sittings, and gatherings at her home. According to her, one incomparable gift and blessing to the Malacca Center was when Revered Chariji stopped for lunch and rest at the Malacca Center in 2006, which was her home. Over the years, Sister Shanti's contribution to the mission has been many and varied. She has served as the Malacca Center coordinator for many years and also a member of the Central Working Committee. To date, she is actively involved in organizing and executing heartfulness outreach programs in Malacca. As mentioned earlier, Sister Shanti has most generously been offering her home to be used as the Malacca Center. She has also very big-heartedly offered another property for mission use. The Shukla Tirth Retreat Center in Malacca, the first of its kind in Southeast Asia, has been in operation since 2016 due to Sister Shanti's kind generosity. She also functions as the retreat manager, looking into the maintenance of the center and processing requests from Abhyasis who wish to stay there. There is also a creative side to Sister Shanti. She has keen interest in painting, and when asked to say something about it, she modestly added that it brings her quietness, joy, and serenity. She has gifted her paintings to Revered Chariji and Revered Daji, and also gave one of her paintings to the mission to be auctioned to raise funds. Another side of Sister Shanti's creative talent is her contribution to the old Constant Remembrance magazine. She's also a main contributor to the SRCM WhatsApp group, often posting insightful and thought-provoking excerpts from mission literature and other sources. Her other hobbies are mainly reading and playing the piano, of which she is a student. Sister Shanti says, Sahasmak's spiritual journey has been the most meaningful experience, and meeting masters in her life was and is an infinite grace. Despite some physical challenges, she feels blessed to have been able to attend bandaras and visit some ashrams in India. They were all precious moments, subtle miracles, and experiences which have enriched her life. So too the companionship of brothers and sisters of the mission. She continues to be a lifelong student of Sahasmak and hopes to share it with others. Now, without much ado, we invite Sister Shanti to give her presentation. Over to you, Sister.
Okay, good evening to everybody. It's long and very generous bio on me. Anyway, thank you so much. All right, first I must put the disclaimer, I'm not an expert or talented maybe in only for art and other things. So today I will be speaking to you from the perspective of being a student of Sahasmak and also the 90-day challenge participant. So I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me to speak on this topic, Kosha. A few months ago, I was looking at this passage from Complete Works of Ramchandra, Volume 6, where Babaji has said, if you want to see the miracle that they can do, it is important that all 5 koshas are broken. But he goes on to say that it is not the main destination, and now he said now you'll be interested to find out how to break the koshas. So it goes on there. It's a very interesting passage, which also it took a long time, intrigued me for a long time, and thinking over it. And then I didn't know further down the line I'll be speaking on koshas. So now we will first listen to Taji's video, which you can see is related very much both to the whispers and to the topic. Can we have Taji's video, please?
Yes. Namaskar, sisters and brothers. I have some more questions for you. I hoped you enjoyed yesterday's and had an opportunity of brooding over it. I think at times questions like those can take a lifetime to grasp and understand. We are not seeking for any verbal answers. So if your heart is satisfied with such paradox. Now, I'd like to put before you some questions regarding our own practice. And these are basically arising out of the process of cleaning. How cleaning is so important for us. It's a fundamental thing. In order for me to be a new individual, I have to destroy my old edifice. I must destroy my old beliefs I must destroy my old demons, old samskaras in short. If I want to paint 1,000-year-old temple, how would I paint that temple? There are cracks everywhere. Stones are missing. How will you paint such a temple? When man is finished by his own character, when his own morality is being questioned by himself, when he is not able to make peace within himself, and wants to change oneself once and for all, how long will you paint yourself externally? How will you pretend? How long can you pretend with whitewash? Are we here for that? Nature doesn't want such unwilling participants. Nature wants willing participants who can make a difference, who cries out and says to God, please help me, I would like to change myself. Then change is possible. But pretending that you are the best, you are a saintly person, you can do no wrong, you are holier than the rest, then how will you change? Everybody else seems to be lower than you. How will you change? The others who are so low will change and become, the God's cynosure. Well, anyway, I have some questions I wrote down. Number 1. This is based on the condition Babaji Sahib describes as living dead condition. I don't know how many of you are familiar with such a state, spiritual condition, living dead condition. In a way, it's a condition where one do not react at all. You become non-reactionary. There is no emotional baggage with every act and thought. Living dead means person who is dead to the world. It's not that he has died and he has no interest in life. He is very much interested in life. But whatsoever happens in his life, he accepts it cheerfully. Just as Babaji gives the example that dead man in the hands of a dresser. The dead man does not complain what clothes you will put on that person. Whether you have given them a final bath or not, it does not care. It's not cognizant anyway. So we have to become at that level so non-reactive. When we become living dead, when we have such a condition, would cleaning be needed for such a person? Okay. Second, would you paint your old house, which is 500 years old, which has cracks at every inch? Number 3, what if your all memories were coming along with new birth? Will you be able to continue as a new individual? Number 4, how can you face the great master with old edifice which cherish so much? In short, we cannot have our old traits living with us, becoming part of us, and present ourselves before Master. Many years back, sometime in 92 or 93, I was asked to give a talk. Just 5 minutes before the satsang started, one volunteer came and says, Master would like you to come to the stage and give a talk. I was quite nervous about giving a talk in Bandaras, and that too in front of Master. The whole meditation was spoilt because I was thinking what to speak. There were no thoughts coming at all. Then slowly, towards the end of meditation, some idea emerged. Since it was Babaji's birthday, we all like to give gifts to the great master, especially on birthdays. So when we ponder over the gift idea, what can we give to the master who is the giver? Would shirt be enough? Would some money be given to him? Is love enough? Is the giver of love? What can we give him after all? Then the idea emerged that the only gift that we can give to our master, a real gift, a true gift that can move his heart, is our transformed self. Even little bit of change that we can bring about consciously with our willpower, with our efforts, will go a long way. And always remember this sentence: one step towards a goal, and goal moves miles towards us. Thank you all.
So, main a word that he told, transform, use the word edifice, which is also repeated in the whispers. So it is about transforming. Of course, Sajmak is about transforming, but he's talking about external, that what we are carrying and what we are bringing, what are we going to bring forward to your next life. Hopefully, we are liberated. But okay. So before I actually start, can you take your left hand and just scratch your nose? Just imagine itching, just scratch your nose and tell me how many koshas. Can you write on the chat how many koshas did you use? Very fast. Don't think so hard. Just write on the chat. Ramesh should write first. No, it's very simple. All the questions, I'll be asking questions this time, not the other way. So just write. What do you think? Just put anything. It makes the it's nice. Good, wonderful. Then, and really nice. Heartfulness Malaysia is okay. That's you. Okay, I tell you. Okay, some have already graduated. Some need to really follow this lesson today, and we'll tell you the answer towards the end. Okay, remember to ask me. All right. So now we will start. Sorry. Okay. We'll start sharing the. Are you all able to see this?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, these are actually infinite veils. It is not 5 koshas. It is so many innumerable, which as you prepare for the talk, you come to know so many things. So Lalaji says that life after life, man has no knowledge of his own reality, and he has no knowledge of his positions in real or unreal conditions. Why? Because the soul is hidden under innumerable coverings. And how does he find reality then? He has to remove the coverings. How is he going to do it? Then he says, go to the guru. So, all right, all the sheaths need to be refined to fulfill our soul's purpose. I wanted to tell you this traditional story about Adi Shankara and the Chandala. So one day, Adi Shankaracharya, he was after his bath in Ganges in Kashi, and he was walking after that, and he has to go to the temple. So on the way, he saw this Chandala coming. Chandala is very low caste, lowly person who does all the, the lowly work and even cremation and things like that. He and his wife were coming. So automatically he took his hand and said, move away, move away. So this is Shankaracharya, who is great teacher and advocate of Advaita, right? And so many verses is written about the non-duality. But as soon as he saw this guy, he said, move aside. But this Chandala, surprisingly, he didn't move. He just stood there, but he was very calm. And so he asked him, what do you mean? What should get away from what? Where and how? And what is your intention? He asked back. Is it that one frame of blood and bone and flesh made out of food must get away from another frame made of blood and bone and flesh and also from food? Must they get away from each other? Or is it that consciousness, is it that soul in that one frame must get away from the soul in another frame? So he said, oh, best of Brahmins, tell me what exactly must get away from what? So then he said also the sun, if it's reflected in the Ganges and is reflected in a pool in the drain, the sun is the same, isn't it? He asked him back. And he said, as far as I know, bodies are, separate, but the consciousness is the same. This is Chandala telling Shankara. So immediately Shankara knew that it is not an ordinary Chandala, this person. He must be a sage or the Lord, and his divine consort has come to teach him a lesson in the error of his ways of looking at somebody different because of the frame. And immediately he said, when you can teach me this, he said, you are my guru. And he immediately bent down, he touched his feet and he said, I accept you as my guru. So what is it that made even such a, so much high knowledge, and it's just automatic, it is part of our upbringing, community, tradition, that we see people differently. We push them, even though your knowledge is there so much, and we should be as practitioners also. So if he at the heights of it can do that, I just wanted to ask, what are we doing? But you see, he had his koshas probably were refined. Immediately he knew this was raw, this is a sage, this is somebody teaching me, and humility came immediately and touched his feet. What will we do? That's the thing. Our koshas are defining our personality. So, if, we pass people and then we see them and we immediately, judge, or we stay away. Or sometimes, and I was thinking, do we even do this in the ashram? It's a question for us. And, even in the presence of master. So when master sees, or master within us sees as doing deliberate actions, he becomes a helpless spectator. He cannot do anything. And we cannot also say that we don't know how to live after being practitioners. We should not say we don't know how to live life. And it is not about refining these koshas to live a perfect life, perfect health, a perfect intellect, it is impossible. That kind of perfection, you will only destroy your life. It is not about being perfect in that way. You'll definitely be stressed, and you won't follow this practice anymore. So it's not about that, but really it is about aspiration. Your aspiration to live a balanced life. And that is the positive aspiration there. So when we say, Master always says, yoga is skill in action. And so what does that mean? In most, I'm talking basic for us, it just means appropriate action at the appropriate time. So that is what I wanted to just bring this story to highlight this. So it is called Manisha Panchakam. Maybe Sister Ramani can just type it, you all can look it up. And this is also written by Shankaracharya. So also Nirvana Shatakam. You can all look it up, and it's very nice. Because last week at Sister Uma's, I think there's a question about duty, dharma, money, artha, and this next minute it is there. So it's like a continuation from all the lessons that we are learning. It's nice because it all flows into each other. So what we need to just remember is we need to take note that these koshas are just instruments for the soul's journey, but whether you want to go towards God or away from God, that is up to you. So those koshas are just there. And going forward, in the original, in the Upanishads, that's in 6 BC. Yeah? So it is written there very beautifully that we have a well-furnished, awe-inspiring cave. And that cave is in our hearts. It is called the Hridaya Guha. And the walls of this cave are made up of these 5 different layers of the sheaths. You can see here, these are walls. And deep inside is the treasure. And what is dark. And we need to have light. And what is light? That is the knowledge. But Babaji goes further and says this light also is a veil. So even that has to go off. Right at the center of this bliss, at this cave, there is this bliss sheath. As there's a tiny cave chamber in the core of our being, that is the one holding the jewel, and that is the Atman, and that is the still point of our consciousness. It is also written very nicely that when the intellect and the mind go towards this place, they have to turn back. So very poetically written, actually, all these Shastras, old ones. So we cannot, because you cannot figure out what is that in the still point of consciousness by just using our intellect and mind. So as Babaji has said, that we feel the vision of the absolute. There is no real thinking or calculating about it, what it is. And this is quite a nice story, so I like to share this. This is also in the title, actually, the Upanishad, how they describe these Panchakoshas, to say that we are not Panchakoshas, but very, very briefly, there was a very inquisitive and a role model student who was a son of a sage Varuna. His name was Brigu. So he went to ask his father, teach me Brahman, of course, because he's a sage son. And sage Varuna said, okay, learn food, breath, sight, hearing, speech, mind, then seek to know that from which these are born and by which they live and for which they search and to which they return. That is Brahman. So thank goodness we have our masters to explain this, because I think I will never figure it out. So so this boy, he went just with that, those cryptic works, he has to go and he do tapas and all that, and he comes back, and the first thing he figured out is his body. Of course, it's food. We can't be alive without food. So he ran back to his father. It's food. Father, teach me Brahman. So his father said, okay, go think deeper than that. So again, he ran off and he said, okay. He said, oh yeah, there must be an energy behind this food. We take in and we do that. It's prana. Again, he ran back to his father, teach me Brahman. So this time he said, he looked at him, he said, more tapas. So he has to go away. And he thought about it and he said, subtler energy is behind this. That is manas. It has to be manas. And then he went back. And father just looked, okay, he had to, it's not the answer, and he had to run out. And this time he got that there's the cognition sheath behind that. And he didn't go back to his father, and he went on doing his contemplation and then and he got bliss. He said, behind everything, there is this bliss. And so he got his answer. And there's a very nice teaching about this, which I think I will tell you later.
Running.
Okay, let's go on to Anandamaya Kosha. I think this is very simple. This is your body. And I think somebody's talking. Can you mute them? Right. So this is it's a field of activity, our Anandamaya, because it's what we identify with. It is, and there is growth, existence, growth, change, and that happens. We normally, describe it by height, weight, place of birth, name of parents. But when we say our name, can you? I want to ask you another guess. Which kosha is that? You want to try to guess? Anybody want to try to guess? My name is Shanti. Which kosha is that? Nobody wants to try? Okay, anyway, after the end of this, you'll be expert. So I'll tell you that later. So you cannot give all just be like the sage Varuna. Rigu had to do so much of tapas. So Anandamaya Kosha, okay, it is related to the earth point. We know that. Everybody knows after the last lesson. And it has all the nervous system, the organs and structure, functioning of cells. It performs actions and undergoes effects of karma. Daji has said this kosha is one kosha where we undergo or the play out karma. So it is karma bhumi. Now, so we actually rent for this body. We are renting. We're taking things from Mother Earth, isn't it? All the elements, the elements are written there, the earth, space, fire, all these are from the Mother Earth. Now, this is my third question to you. Please listen, you have to answer. What is the rent we pay? Can you just think, what is the rent we pay to Mother Earth for our Anandamaya Kosha? Try, just nothing is wrong, nothing is. What is the rent we have paid, and we are paying? What is the rent? Is it money? No, right? So what are we? How are we paying this earth? Come, just put your thoughts. We should be brave. Remember, Master created this environment so that the student is can be free and learn and make mistakes. So good, very good. All the answers are good. Some more? Any more? A body borrowed from Earth. Okay. Take care of Mother Earth is very nice one. Actions. Our life, we rent this, and we are renting it because we know you have to pay back when you die. You're going to go back to Earth, but we are renting it every time we are having a reincarnation. We are renting. We are using and using. But what are we? What is our rent actually? Anyway. Okay, good. So it is a gratitude. Okay, So everything is there. It's good. When you start putting it, it's nice when you write and think about it, because sometimes we never think. It is actually karma. It's actually your actions. And the other one, taking care of Mother Nature. That is how you pay your rent. You have to take care. And because your body has come about because of your karma, your prarabdha, they call it prarabdha karma, and it is comes here and it is given to you for this existence, everything that you need. So what is it? Then you have to do your actions with correct thinking, right understanding, and honest approach to life. We can do that, and I think Mother Earth will be very happy. So, right, okay, all the rest, all are good. Now, what does Anandamaya carry? Isn't we carry the most valuable, which is Atma of consciousness. Now, it is very slow. It is very slow vibration, but it's very indispensable, because we carry all the chakras and points and koshas, they're all in this frame. Maybe if you go to another loci, it's a different frame, but this in ours, this is, this, even though it's dense and slow, but it is indispensable for our evolution. And Lalaji has said that because we give so much color to it that we identify with our body only, we forget. We think we are only the body. All right, the quality of food, I think I can read that. Right. So how do we tune this Anandamaya Kosha? You see, pasta, there was one saying, I think somewhere, right? Sophia Loren said her beautiful body was due to all the pasta that she ate. So yeah, we are our food. So we are, I don't know, maybe idlis or dosa or something lah. Okay. So and our tongue is so dispassionate. You just put anything in, is dispassionate. Everything will go inside just like that. It never keeps anything for itself. Everything you put there, sure, it will give. Just put it inside. And also, of course, words also lah. Whether it's hurting or nice, so it doesn't keep anything. But we cater so much to those tiny taste buds. So let's see. We want to tune this so that we have a relatively healthy body. What is a healthy body? At least that doesn't disturb us. It's nice if it doesn't even make, we don't even remember it's there. It's the best, that's when we were younger. But now, at least it doesn't disturb you during meditation. It's already a great thing. So at least we must look after it for that. And I remember, even if your body is not functioning so well, but Sariji, I remember in one of the videos he was telling, just think Master is walking. When you're having such a difficulty walk to go to even to center or satsang, okay, the Master is walking. I think he was talking about them coming to Mandaras or coming for satsang. Yes, he said, just think that it is the Master who is walking, Master's body. So now, let me remember I said about the Brigavali just now, that teaching is important because we just take it for granted, our food. And in that teaching, it says, don't scorn food. That means don't complain, don't scorn food, which also means, metaphorically, you can say, don't scorn anything or anybody. The other one is, never feel lack of it. So you don't have to hoard all your things, even hoard love only for certain people, not the other thing, or that kind of thing. You don't have to hoard anything. And in fact, increase food, which means share everything with everybody, even increase the prosperity, like prosper thy neighbor, so that everybody is doing well. And refuse no guest in your house. Share food with everyone, including strangers, which means have compassion. Have compassion and share everything. including our spiritual knowledge. Don't be stingy, certain things only for certain thing, not. We share it just as our masters so generous, everything they're sharing. So basically, be big in life, be magnanimous. If you think you're just a body, you are not able to do that. Right. And we can eat with care because we are caretakers of our body. We are not owners. This is very nice, especially this. We are made of ancestors, culture, food, air, and water. This food is a gift of the earth, the sky, the trees, the soil, numerous living beings, and much hard work, hard and loving work. So it covers everything basically, from those who supply, those who till, those who, your mother feeding, everything. So this is important to remember. Food is the eldest born of beings, therefore it is called the healing herb. We think existence depends on us, but we depend on this earth and all its gifts. And remember, no need to fast too much, because with fasting too much, you cannot meditate. But I think Buddha used to fast a lot, or he was fasted too much, and his master, first thing he did was fed them. The other thing is treat your body with a bit of kindness. Know that it's just a vehicle. Don't think don't think bad of your body. Don't think that it is obstruction. Don't think that this body is like this, ugly or not. No, it's just that it is something given to you as a vehicle. Don't do that. So, and don't be too proud or so. And don't think you have to improve on it by doing like cosmetic surgery. That's another thing. So learn to just see your body, mind, and senses as your friends. Okay, so this is for, this is good. All grandmothers say this, right? This is a tribute to grandmothers. Eat too fast, we eat too much, we eat foods that don't help us. And this is also very nice. There are many things they won't recognize in the supermarket. Okay, so we will go to the next Kosha, which is Pranamaya Kosha. Okay, can you see this?
Can, sister.
Okay, thank you, brother, for telling that. Okay, Pranamaya Kosha, this is the second one, is more subtle. It controls and regulates the Anandamaya and is also influenced by the Manomaya. This is Lalaji again, his quote, his covering of breath. He describes it as prana is a power of nature, and divine light and other powers are contained, and the world depends on it. All the prana that you need for your conducting of life, it is supplied by this Pranamaya Kosha. So this is it is not confined. It is not confined to our physical frame. It is slightly outside. It surrounds you like a bubble, and it is life of beings and also the cosmic life. It is it also organizes the physiological flow and functions, and it also caters for the movement of mental and also physical expression. Because when prana leaves, you are dead. Okay. Now, this is just to show that we share prana with everything. With this mystical, everything has a metaphysical energy, and our communication with everything is through this prana, the tree, everything. This lady, okay, with the flowers, and of course you see with your pets, you feel sometimes nice when they are there. They also communicate by energy, and this is also very nice that this is from a Red Indian, Chief Seattle. The voice of my grandfather said, Okay. Sorry, because I can't see. All right. A voice of my grandfather said to me, the air is precious. It shares its spirit with all the life it supports. The wind that gave me my first breath also received my last sigh. And we all know that when we exhale, somebody else is inhaling, except for now, because of COVID, we don't gather. But otherwise, when we are sitting together, somebody exhales, somebody inhales, that is somebody's exhalation. So that is, we are not having our separate space. Okay. Now, this Pranamaya, Kosha, is known as the noblest of all the Koshas. Why? It's because they are totally selfless, and they're very service oriented. They work all the time, and also is not connected to the senses, so they're not tempted anywhere. So they continuously work, and you know, when the younger brothers, or you see the other sheaths or sisters, when they stop working at night, you know, this one continues. And especially if we go and have a snack sometimes before bed, we eat a banana, I don't know what you all eat, then the thing continues working, you know, and it doesn't even complain. Right, and just out of interest, in the mother who's pregnant, embryo is supported by the mother's prana for up to 3 months. After 3 months, you know, when Daji has said Brahmaranda is open in the embryo, and then the soul of the fetus enters. And when it enters, it starts generating its own prana, and the mother's prana and the baby's prana is separate. So this prana is really very hardworking and very selfless. So it moves in the nadis. We have 72,000 pathways, nadis. You can't see them, and they move along this nadis. Okay, let's look at what is the 5 energetic or karmendriyas. Very easy when you look at these pictures. So karmendriyas, they have hand grasping, speech, reproduction, movement, and then this guy, of course, you know what he's doing. So this is karmendriyas. And then now let's look at the vayus or winds. So these vayus, did you even know that we have a separate prana for blinking and for sneezing? I didn't know that. Anyway, so prana is the inward flow that governs respiration and the reception of everything, from air and food and ideas. And the tip of the toes, tip of the nose, it is the force of the flow here. It is supposed to resemble Ashva. It is like a horse, 24/7 alert. The horse doesn't sit, so it's in it. So it's always there and continues that. So this is prana. Apana is the downward and outward flow of elimination, excretion, urination, menstruation, and also affects our immunity and anything that we need to get rid of mentally. So as we grow older, then this immunity is affected, and also a lot of confusion. And I mean, if the apana is weak, then we are not, we get confused, we get upset, we feel insecure. And so any diseases, if this apana is not working, it's from the pelvis, the urinary system, and immune deficiency. Okay, let's go to Vyana. Vyana is responsible for the flow and circulation of blood and distribution of nourishment to every part of the body. Of course, the hub of it will be in the heart, and it moves all over the place, but it also generates unconscious reflexes along the spine and keeps the body upright. Samana is responsible for digestion as well as assimilation of the nutrients, and it's a wonderful thing, you know, how it separates. And even for the breath we take in, it separates, you know, what is oxygen and all that. This is samana. And of course, if there's any problem with it, then there will be digestive problems. Udana is the one that ejects or rejects things out of the body. It controls balance and autonomic system. It's also responsible for ejecting the subtle body out of the gross body at death. So this is what it does. And then these are the very small pranas. So we have for burping, Urma for blinking, Krikara for sneezing. So don't stop the sneeze because there's so much prana behind it. Devadatta, anybody yawning now? That one is acting. Okay, and Dhanajaya is decomposition after death. All right. And you know, hunger and thirst is not the body, but it's from the pranamaya, Kosha. All right. So here, Daji has said our attitude is one that's going to affect our pranamaya Kosha. Ego mixes in it, and it becomes quite formidable. That, you know, maybe this is when you hear people running amok, or it's a temporary insanity, and you know, maybe somebody jealous and somebody so emotionally stirred up, and the body, this energy is so stirred up, and you do things and you act in certain ways which is not responsible. So try to think that you're having a prana bank, so that you don't delete or you don't deplete your prana. It's just like the money. You don't want to deplete it simply. So you have a prana bank. If you deplete it fast every day, emotional up and down. This guy smiles. Maybe a child smiles. Prana goes up. Maybe your husband is glaring at you or something else. I don't know, your boss. Then it comes like that, up and down. If we are reactive, we are going to end up like this lady here, depleted prana. Okay, how do you tune and refine? One simple thing is a smile. When you smile, you can see that, okay, prana, it distributes prana to every cell. And happiness is attracted. It attracts that energy. All right, then when Raji says, when this Kosha is shining, our health is benefited. So first thing is to lighten our emotional and mental states, to harmonize Anandamaya, because whatever blockage and whatever thing is here in your pranamaya, it'll show out as disease or illness or definitely something in your body. And or how do we do that? We know, of course, spiritual practices, which I don't have time to go, we've already heard of all that. We need to use that to refine and constantly being in a state of humility and to curb the ego. Food that we eat, well, those organic foods, fresh food, of course, and they say microwaving food is supposed to be tamasic, but I don't know much about that, so I won't go into that. But food does count. Posture, the one who always hunched up, you can't even breathe properly. And vitamin G is from earth grounding. This is very good. So barefoot contact, so that we absorb the electrons and good negative ions. So where do you go to get on a holiday to get fresh air? Can you write there? Where is the best place you go that you think for you right now, you wish you could go to what? Where to get this fresh air? Can you share on your chat? Where do you think the best place to go to get fresh air? Not in your aircon office, of course. So where can we go? Kanha, wonderful. Yes, that is, of course, that is of course, definitely. That is, there, all your Koshas will be tuned, the master's tune. You don't have to. Jungle, yes, it means you're having green and fresh. That's so much for your calming of prana. How about the beach? The beach and waterfall, actually a lot of these negative ions, to release. And that's really helpful because it's absorbed in our feet and it reduces inflammation in the body and it reduces, helps your immune system as well. Okay. So from the perspective of your soul, you must know what kind of energy we have. It is not how much, and it's not like, but running around with energy like that is what kind. It's in four. Why? Because if you pretend to be somebody else, you pretend your life is great when it's still not, you have to be truthful and be simple, and that helps us regulate our prana. And we have to stay away from energy empires. They really exist. There's two types. One is the negative and sucking us you and put all the negativity. The other one is too toxic, positive also. Okay, everything boleh, even though you're maybe crumbling down something, I say can, still can, even though there's no reassurance behind it. So these two you must stay away or just regulate, put them away. And moderation of our emotions, I think we did that. And our heartfulness practices, especially at point A and point B, which was done in detail. So that's the end for this. So I will go to the next Kosha. Which is the Anandamaya Kosha. Okay, Anandamaya Kosha. This one very slippery fellow. Oh. This Mano Matra Jagat. It means the whole world is in your mind, or your mind makes the whole world. So what are we here? Anandamaya is the third sheath, and none of the sheaths are separate. All interpenetrate each other. It's connected to the water point. It is we know about this, the show, and further down it became to our mind. So it is the level that receives impulses and from the external world, and also processes the sensory data, processes thoughts, emotions, patterns, and produces ideas. And it's more subtle than the Pranamaya Kosha. Okay. This Anandamaya Kosha is very curious about everything. It must seek to know about things, and it uses the intellect also and memory to get a full feeling of all the whatever it's trying to find out, and it makes up its own opinion about it. And this Kosha offers the most satisfaction as well as the greatest discontent or restlessness. And when it's unrefined and heavy, then this sheath adds to our confusion and disasters. This layer can also be a place of darkness if the energy behind the thoughts leads to an overwhelm of mental negativity. I'm not sure whether, I think somewhere it is mentioned, isn't it? Or Darth Vader. Is it master? I forget who, maybe one of the speakers. So it is Anakin who was he showed the vulnerability to the side because mind is always clouded. It got clouded and he started making mistakes and all that, and he turned into Darth Vader. So we have to be careful about this manner, how we think. And of course, we spend a whole time in this sheath. All the time maximum time in the mental sheath, and we are caught up in thoughts and so many types of mental activity. Anandamaya Kosha is not, because it's not bound by time or material or space, so it's everywhere. And when it goes to one spot, then it makes another whole lot of thoughts, and then it goes to, and from there it goes on. You can see it's from here, in everything, wherever it wants to go. There's a multiple levels of worlds it creates. Every thought and every idea and every feeling causes a separate world. Now, and we enliven those thoughts. Remember Babaji saying, we are the one who spoil the atmosphere because our thoughts are flowing like, clouds in the sky. If you really see that it's all there. But when we do this guided meditation, I think we think that the thoughts are like clouds and let them be. Yeah? But so this Kosha, however, because it defines, and very important for us, it defines a human species along with the heart. So it is a bridge between human life and divine life. So that means it's between individuality and unity, diversity and integrity, and humanity and divinity. This is the Kosha that can do that. And we keep thinking and thinking. How do we think? What is the way we are thinking? Only you would know, isn't it? And everybody thinks they know what the other fellow is thinking also. Okay. But actually, we are all mostly thinking about negative things. There's always a constant modification of thoughts. It's vritti, right? So, but mostly it's negative. And 80% is negative. And then the next day, exactly the same repetitive thoughts will come, which is true, which is because I was observing the same thing, I'll repeat, 95%. And these thoughts, actually, when it's negative, it forms this very deep thought grooves in the mental body. When it forms that groove, then your life starts running in a fixed pattern because you're thinking this way. I like this the best. So all these worry, and then this, and then this. And this also is very, very humorous. I suffered the great many catastrophes, but most of them never happened. So it is a lot of negative things there. The sheath of the mind is described as a sacrificial fire, this one. So it's a very nice picture. All these are the five senses. They are bringing you things to eat, to listen, to see, and your mind, the ghee here, they pour, I don't know what they pour, the ghee. So it's either it's going to flame up and become bigger for those desires. And or if your mind is not behind these senses, then of course the senses slowly become dormant. So right now, if your mind is not behind your ears, you won't be listening to me. I'm giving that as an example. Okay, and this one everybody knows. Okay, this is my way, my things, myself, my. So this one works on the I. The intellect gives, it has an identity, ego, but the mind takes it and makes it a big, huge thing about me, myself. So it pushes its own likes, dislikes, and it is very ruthless. It can be very ruthless. Again, the story in the Lord of the Rings where Sauron, I think, was supposed to be an angelic hobbit, I think, and then started liking that everything must be done in his way, when he orders it, he likes it, so he became also turned to the dark side. So the point is, this one cannot be, this monkey here cannot be the, it can just be a supervisor. It cannot be the manager. If you want to talk about factory, okay, supervisor factories or manager, but it cannot be the manager of your life. This mind is very important. Without the mind, we cannot reach our goal. But watch out. If the Manomaya is weak, the person's personality cannot fully blossom or balance. It cannot, it shields you, or you cannot think properly. You can't see the truth. It starts shielding. It's weak also, it becomes the same way. Once it's mind, it becomes manipulative, it's ruthless, all because it's weak. You cannot, your person can't be blossom. It only be one side. And like if you two people are there, I mean, your prana is the same, the body is same. The reaction from two may be different, and the response. So what is the difference? It is the Manomaya. Now, in the Manomaya, we have also the will. The will is connected to the mental plane. And this is a nice quote of Chariji, which I liked. And the Manomaya Kosha grows even when making mistakes. So it's okay, maybe overthinking like this, and later on you got that A to B. You will get that because you need, as you start using, you will get your. Okay. As the mind gets purified, the intensity of activity will diminish. That is the Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And masters have highlighted the importance of having your own mind and taking the reins of your life in your own hands. We all know this journey has made us self-dependent. It is really because of the courage and all the practice. So we can take the reins, we can have our own mind. Use it. And contentment then comes when you're freed from the mental disturbances. We need a state of settledness. Now, what is settledness? It's not mean not doing nothing, not doing anything, but like this, like Master, this picture, is not moving, it's not, when you look at him, nothing is happening, but there's infinite action there, infinite action that takes place for all the enlightened people. So just like Babaji sits apparently doing nothing. And so this is what happens. And they have activity at a different dimension. And so we too, when we develop that state of settledness, we start developing that action, not activity. So some like, okay, bring down, not masters. We go to a disturbance somewhere, some fight or something's happening, and somebody goes there and shouts, and okay, they may listen or not, but somebody else just walks in there, and everybody stops, and that person just induces them to do the right thing. So that is a settled person. That kind of settledness is what we want. Maxim 9. Okay. All right. So how do we refine? We need to release what we don't need, as it's important as adding what you need. Now, what is the releasing? Whatever it may be. It may be activities or relationships that you need to think about it. And sometimes it's not that we are, standing at the wrong place. It's just how we are thinking about it. So maybe you actually don't need to release or throw something away. It's just how we think about things. We need to think whether we're thinking in contradictory way. So that one, to do that, you need this swadhyaya, self-analysis, self-study. And that is a way, it's very emphasized by Daiji also. And the other one is live in the present. We can't remember what we ate for breakfast, but you remember that 30 years, 20 years, how many years ago, what that fellow said to me, or what hurt it caught me, or what I lost. Maybe it's only $1,000, but now it is multiplied to $30,000. So we live forward, and we live about thinking about what we're going to do is, okay, once it's open, we're going to travel once, They give us permission to travel, but your life is happening now. We need to think about how we feel and think now. So that is meaning of live in the present. And we should keep a vigil on our hearts so that we can choose equanimity and poise. When we keep the vigil, we learn to adjust and keep that meditative state. And so we retain that poise. Otherwise, we will start firefighting every small thing. We have to. We let our hearts and emotions run, and the mind takes over. Pranamaya also starts getting worked up. Pranamaya, anger and all, it's gathering, bloodshot and all that, or we get unhappy and we weep. It's all the pranic, but it's all fueled by this Manomaya. So we keep a vigil on our hearts, and so that whatever is around us, it's all incompatible. You have people you are not compatible with, but you can adjust and retain your voice. Like there was a story, I think, in like Lord Rama. One day he was getting ready for coronation. Fasting and getting ready for coronation. Next day, he was told he has to leave the kingdom and go. And he kept his voice. Whatever brutal words came to him by Kaikeyi, I think he was supposed to leave. And he just kept his voice, equanimity. So let us hope we come to that stage. And this one, and give positive suggestions. And these are, of course, our sankalpas are there. It's all ready-made for us. Give positive, subtle suggestions, even to yourself. Develop elegance of thought by reading our literature so that you may expand your thoughts and compare your opinions, and you may see there's a difference, or we will get influenced by all the beautiful thoughts in our literature and ideas and ways. Practice good intention and repetition. Change your inner and outer environment. If we know that, think about that your higher force is running your life, then your environment, inner and outer environment changes. We know that there's a higher force running. And Manomaya doesn't, feel the need to guard your ego, it lets go. It becomes lighter. The other thing is to go here. Quality of thought we have in the waking state is important. How we think. And this one, proper attitude towards ourselves. When Babaji said, develop the friendship with ourselves. We can help our own. Prejudice comes because we don't have a proper attitude towards ourselves. We criticize and judge and be miserable to ourselves. Remember the negative thoughts. I'm not good enough. I'm not like this. Nobody likes me. I'm missing out. I deserve it because I'm like this. Oh, my body is terrible. Oh, my this one. So those things grow higher, rather than, he says, have a proper attitude to yourself. He said, never hate yourself. He said, when he got angry at himself so many times, the Lalaji would frown at him. So he stopped. So we are often angry at ourselves, for being foolish and all that. So we need to learn compassion. We know we're wrong. Okay, we won't do it. You don't have to be too hard on yourself. Sajmak practice with faith brings us a state where we are impregnable. That means everything is around there, your senses, everything is around there, but we can go through. The shadow may pass on it, but we are not going to go and get entangled in anything, in situations where we are vulnerable. We are vulnerable. We are open. Hearts get things coming in and going out. The mind gets things coming in and going out. Yet we are protected because of our masters. The faith in masters, they protect us. I just put this boat here because I want to tell you that sometimes we think we are the mind. It was a boat where Rabindranath Now Tagore, he was inside and he was writing his poem. There's only one candle flickering and he was struggling to write and write. It was night, writing, and he wrote some poem finally, and then he said, it's difficult. He just blew out the candle. And he said such a transformation came that it was because bamboo, that there was light coming in from outside. And when he stepped outside, he saw this profound, he felt the profound silence. And that light was from that reflected moon illuminated everything that was there. So sometimes our mind, the mind flickering forever, is talking, mind chatter going on. It blocks out such that beautiful light of the consciousness, our Atman, and that silence there, because this is going on. So we try to remember that. All right, I think that's, and for that, I will go to the next Kosha. Which is the Kosha. Okay, this is a big Anandamaya Kosha. Anandamaya Kosha is a nice guy compared to Manomaya, very slippery. So Anandamaya Kosha is inner to the mental sheath. It pervades all the sheaths. It is composed of intellect and associated with organs of perception. This Kosha is related to the air point. And it is part of the Sukshma Sharir together with Manomaya and Pranamaya. It is a vehicle of higher thought, vijnana. So understanding, discriminating, analyzing, knowing, direct cognition, it expands into wisdom, intuition, and creativity. And it represents philosophical thought and metaphysical intuition. And we can penetrate into realms unknown, like the universe, the stars, the galaxies, And Galileo, he had a wonderful vijnana, and he's written such a beautiful thing. You can read yourself, which masters always say, already God has given you reason, intellect, and all that. Use it and think. But Buffalo was kept in house arrest, for discovering all these things. So we gradually build the relationship between individual consciousness and universal consciousness with the vijnana. So it is known as a witness mind because it doesn't entangle with so much of our senses, emotions. So it is more of a witness mind. And when you close your eyes and relax during meditation, Manomaya goes over less influence slowly, and Vijnanamaya kicks in. That is the one, it gets active during sadhana. So in sadhana, this is very important during our abhyas. This Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, is the one that gets important. It is important because it helps us increase the level of self-awareness. It is believed that any activity that, when you become engrossed, like writing or painting or whatever that you're doing that you like so much, you are accessing this wisdom sheath. And Anandamaya is very close by. Fragrances start coming. Okay, this one everybody knows, I think. In the Buddhist and also the Hindu religion, they use this chariot, and the horses are senses, and the mind are the reins, and here the Buddhi, the high intellect. Now here, Atman, because it is not awakened, it goes round and round and round in this chariot for eternity. And until it wakes up, it is enjoying all the things that the senses bring, a mind brings and all, but it's not really satisfied. So the minute the Guru awakens the soul, it starts actively participating in that, our yatra, our evolution. All right, so here it says, this is simple. Teacher is nothing else except your own soul. And when it wakes up, it's going to help you in the path of evolution. And spiritual intelligence, how we describe God-given wisdom for being aware of the spiritual dimensions of reality. What is real and what is unreal? To the whole of this preparation, this word keep coming, real, unreal, real. And as it grew closer, as from various sources, real, unreal keep on popping up. So maybe next I must read more on that, real and unreal. So, okay, so that's one whose vision does not penetrate into himself is not a human being. As we practice Viveka and Vairagya, then the knowledge of self also takes place in the intellect. It is pranahuti, of course, meditation pranahuti, which makes this expansion of consciousness and refinement possible in this sheath. And this, as it expands, the wisdom there, it comes from a higher discernment. It's not calculated, it is a higher discernment, it is revealed, that kind of wisdom. This interesting thing that I found about Viveka, I mean, for me, discovered, we all may know it. There are 3 types of Viveka. And first one, if you mix with people, correct company, and you read the Shastras, you read all their scriptures, then you know you feel what is right and what is wrong. And those with developed divine consciousness feel, again, the real and unreal. And the saints, of course, they have a super discrimination, and automatically they think and do only right. Okay, so that is a 3 discrimination of that. So if you remember you're the instrument or maker, then it's going to shine and it's free of attachment. But if you think you're too intellectual, then you start doubt everything, including the master. And it's also the level of ego consciousness, which says I, and then you'll give it to the mental side to make it bigger, and the whole, we what did master say? When you think you're better than the rest, the holier than the rest, then it becomes in this sheath, and we are in trouble. This sheath, because it is there. This is a wonderful kosha for us to go up to towards the next, the bliss, and towards the center. So if you're caught there, as he said, you are not going to, a small flower will be catching the God's eye simple person, rather than we with all this knowledge, but also into showing up our intellect. Negativity causes rigidity. What does it mean when you have a lot of unhappy thoughts? Okay, or you keep still think I'm useless, I'm like this, I'm like that, I'm not moving, I'm not progressing, I'm not, so many, all the negative things, and especially when it comes during meditation, you're making those grooves in your samskaras. That especially during meditation, you have negative thoughts. The deeper the line, it is not easy to get rid of. So be careful, always think positive. As I said, be your friend, be your own friend. We understand we are sometimes disheartened, but don't be thinking we are not useless. Any of us. We are made here and came here for some reason. So we don't have contempt either for anybody else or for ourselves. So how do we refine this? We practice, actually, basically practice the transmission with pranahuti, and it helps us to think even in a contradictory way, but it is helpful to us. Like misery, master will say misery is good for you, but then you're not supposed to look for misery. So you understand now what he's talking. So this is the Vigna Maya, it brings it all together. And let's say or we go through something which is difficult, but you know it was actually good for you. So it makes light of all the disadvantages as well. Now, the intellect, the will is very potent here, and the sheath is well developed. We are actually using divine will, and divine will never give you wrong guidance. It will give you always the right, attitudes. And even Babaji said that if all the human wills are put together, we can change God's plans. That's under our literature. So, and what is fit yourself into the larger pattern of Dharma, meaning so that do the right thing at the right time. It's not about for you, it is for the universe. Master says everything starts with us. So peace starts with us, love starts with us, everything starts with us. So if we start thinking at the universal level, so that criteria, be big in life, magnanimous, include everybody. And the practice, one thing is, because we do the practice, but what is your intention? Sometimes you do the practice automatically. What is your intention? So karma is always doing the correct thing at the correct time. See? And that leads to our evolution also. In small ways, you don't have to go so high up there. Small ways in the house, in the office. So are you there for them? Are you helping them? Are you being a sister and brother to all sisters and brothers in the mission, or your neighbor? To are you available? So that's there. Let them be happy that you are there, not you are happy because they are there. That's one meaning of it. This Bhagavad Gita, I think you can read because it's equal, teach everybody equally. Okay, this is very nice here. A man must use discrimination if he finds himself going towards unreal. If we follow a devious path, well, it is very hard to trace back our steps without suffering. So we have that wisdom to have the vision what to do, appropriate thing at appropriate time. At least now we probably, hopefully, we put into practice. So I'm sure all of us went through this, and you want to retrace your steps. But Babaji says continuous backtracking is good also, because it's for us to learn, and not to repeat it. And without the intuition and inspiration of the heart, yes, and the intellect and mental sheath, they cannot expand. Okay, so this is the end of the intellect. And now we go to the Anandamaya and conclusion. Hope everybody is there and all are doing well. Okay. Anandamaya Kosha is quite interesting also. It is the final sheath. It is the veil between our ordinary awareness and our higher self. The causal layer of or Karanachari also, it's called that. And it is considered as the deepest and most finest consciousness and most subtle. The sheath of happiness and joy and bliss. It is about being where we are bliss. It is not about, it can't be taught intellectually. We feel it within, feel viscerally or in our hearts. But the thing is, it endowed with changing attributes. So it is not constant. It's not constant. So we sometimes have reflected happiness whenever we satisfy any of our desires. Even biting into a nice chocolate, if you're a chocolate fan, you have bliss. You have that happiness. So that bliss belongs to this Anandamaya Kosha. So where it is not self, where there is steady state of being, the eternal supreme joy, no matter what happens. This Anandamaya, it is not steady. So this bliss sheath is not the end of the journey. And it is actually, they say it's a little, they call it a little muddy. Anandamaya Kosha is like muddy water compared to the clear, crystal clear water of the self. Why is it muddy? Because of these vasanas, the desires, and our tendencies. We store it, we bring, and it is stored in this sheath, in the Karna chariot. It is stored there, and it flowers whenever it comes out one by one to the surface of the mind. And there are three types of happiness: Priya, Moda, and Pramoda. There's time, then I will explain more on that. So this is our, we feel it most, of course, when we are asleep. We are deep sleep when we're in Sushupti. And when everything is resolves into that center, it also stands there between this Kosha, between the finite and the self.
Excuse me, sister.
Yes?
Is there a slide for this?
Yes?
Because we cannot see the slide. Can you share with
Oh,
us?
you cannot see it. Can you see?
No.
Now? No?
No.
Oh,
Stop this. Yes.
wait, I'll stop then.
Yeah, and share it.
I'll close it again. Oh, should stop me earlier. Let me see what I share. How about now?
Yeah. Now, okay. Thank you.
Okay. So we missed that. Okay, not much. Okay, this was all right. So when we are deep sleep, right? We are in Sushupti. So I want to ask and request you to answer also. Why do we get up from that Sushupti, and how long is it that we are in the Sushupti? What determines that? We are there, we are in the embrace of the eternal, actually, we are all in that. So why do we come out of that? Just put it, don't worry, don't be shy, just help me out. Why do we come out of that? And how long is that Sushupti for? Try. Brother Kumar first. And deep sleep, why do you come out? Why do you come out of it? You're so nice in there. You're like so blissful, and you don't know all this manifested universe, and you're in deep, and you're so embarrassed, and we are blissful there. Why do we come out?
Because this will be one
Physical, yes? You can type it. You want to tell it, yes? Because
I want to wake up. I still need to do something in this world.
you want to wake up, dream. You say, yeah, you come out to dream. Okay, physical needs. Time's up. Which time's up? Oh, time's up means not for me, right? Suddenly I got a shock in my mind. All right. No, you can say, oh, your alarm rang, you mean? Okay. So actually, again, we go back to the prarabdha. Prarabdha is that karma that is supposed to be worked out. I think you heard this a few times. That karma that is supposed to be worked out in this life. We take the whole thing is up there, sanchita, and what is supposed to be finished here comes with you. So remember, I think Chariji said samskarik spring, unwinding. So that one, prarabdha karma, I mean, it's time for you to get up to do what you're supposed to do. Your work, that karma is waiting for you. The next day's karma is waiting for you. So you have to finish your karma. There's no way out of doing your karma, that actions that need to be fulfilled for that day. So you have to come out. Also, just a little bit more, if you indulge, we come out of sleep, we learned all these few lessons, wonderful lessons. How do you get up? I remember Sister Liz said, how do you get up in bed? What is it that you adjust in bed before we step out of bed? What is it that we can? So that starts from there, because we have done the 10 maximum 10, and then we did point A, point B, and then we did our prayer, and we slept with masters, in our heart. And when we wake up, so how are you supposed to wake up is irrelevant. So because you're talking about edifice there, after say this, are you going to whitewash, we wake up and you put a simply, false persona over there? Or is it a real persona? What have you changed? A little bit every day before you put your foot down. Is it as light as Masters? Masters is, you see him, okay, we cannot be there. But have we changed a little bit with all this? Every day we are practicing. When I get up, is there some conscious of how we conduct life? And it starts from right in the bed, before you wouldn't sit there, before you wouldn't put a foot there, how we move there. And do we have more steadiness, things like that. I just wanted to just make us conscious about this. Are we doing that? And Anandamaya Kosha, it is experienced in when you're fully immersed in something you're doing, of course, when you're already absorbed doing something very nice in your, if you're doing anything that you like, and you're no longer separate from your experience. So experience and yourself, they are together. You are enjoying that bliss. And we express joy in all the other sheets, depending on the resonance. Now, this bliss sheet is experienced in fleeting moments, and it is in everyday moments. Everyday moments we are experiencing this. Would you like to just tell me when you think you feel bliss? When you think you're feeling, it is not only the deep sleep, but because you're talking about Anandamaya Kosha, it is changing, and we feel it. It's not only in deep sleep, but we feel it every day in normal things. Would you like to suggest something, please? When do you feel it? Well, thinking very hard. Very simple. What all us is the simple one. Don't you think very hard? Every day. Because Lalaji said, God, the manager was so good. He kept this little bit of portion of bliss for every day as a reward, not sleep only, for any labor you do. Meditative, yes. If we feel this bliss, as you go on in spiritual path, of course, this becomes blissful. Some more simple things. Simplest thing, like daily routine thing. Doing your hobby, wonderful. Just now I said bite the chocolate when I have small little bit of pleasure. How about things like when you come back and see your baby's face? That is the Anandamaya acting from there. When you just go for a walk and you feel invigorated and nice, that a pleasant feeling. Yes, girlfriend, yes. Definitely, if it's a nice girlfriend and all that, okay, very good. When you have a shower, and you feel fresh, it feels good. And when you sing in the bathroom, it's even more good. That is Anandamaya Kosha. Music, yeah. When you hear something and you're feeling this, it's just simple everyday things that that we are feeling it, this that we are just taking for granted. You talk to a friend that happiness is there, that is all. Seeing nature, something, already you feel some happiness. So imagine if all this doesn't even feel happy, if the daily things don't give you a bit of happiness. So it is there every day. We are feeling it, just we never. So, but because it is not lasting, it is not lasting. You feel it for a while and then it is gone. Even with a girlfriend for a while, can't be feeling that bliss all the time. So it's gone. It comes, it goes, it comes and goes. So there are times when maybe something made you feel very good and then it's removed from your life. So that is the one that makes us have a complete, it has a potential to make us think these are all temporary, but what is that is permanent? And you prioritize your life, you consider your goals, because you finally know that Anandamaya is only giving a reflection of true bliss. It is not the true bliss. So what else can give us true bliss? So we can do this refining by tuning in. We live life in the present, because we always, our mind is either this side or that side. It's we are either busy with emotional things, or we are too much with other work things, that you come in and you just pass a nice flower. I didn't ask to pluck, but that happiness of seeing that flower bloom is that someone gives that joy. You see, or you see a child waving at the door, maybe, or your dog waving its tail or something. That's the one. That's the one. Somebody smiled, you simply, that is the one. So if you take your time to notice such things, and you have to blossom it by having auspicious thoughts and deeds. Auspicious thoughts. We said the waking thoughts are telling you is very important, because you said even in your dreams, if you don't think bad about anyone already, you're already refining all your koshas, because you don't even have it in your dream. And masters, their heart is most kind and open when they're sleeping. I forgot to mention that earlier. So during sleep, they are most open and most kind. So for us to, for us, so when you dream, it's not always like scolding people or thinking bad about people. Then you're moving up. Devotion sadhana, just now somebody mentioned sadhana, and harmony between inner and outer world. Of course, all this lifestyle, communication, service. Any service gives us happiness. Any service, small thing, any small things, not big things even. We do it with a good attitude and let go of negative attitude, conditioning of mind. So in meditation, is our entire life is involved. Our entire life and love and aspiration is there. And that is why it gives you that joy and peace, and that continues. So it's our entire life is there. It's not only just the mind and the vijnaya, it is our whole life. So when we are with that, then this Anandamaya will start showing up. And you go beyond that, of course. Right. So in conclusion, we say that we need to transcend all these sheets. It's important to transcend these sheets, all transpersonal. It is when you open them, if you peel off, we are shared. We are not individuals. We are universal. So transcendence is a way of evolution. So when Babaji talks about breaking the Koshas, he is talking about transcendence. It is the form which changes. It is the edifice which is broken, which is meaning that old one with chips and all that. Let's take it away and don't just whitewash it. Build it again.
Mm. I didn't take out. I'll take out of this.
I think Cyrus is, need to mute her. So this koshas arise in consciousness and resolve in consciousness. We need to, this is important. We have effective and intelligent conservation of energy. When we go through life, that we know that prana bank is very important. We have effective and intelligent conservation of energy. When you do anything, that's what it means. Yoga is skill in action. So we don't waste and all that. And okay, heartfulness practices will help to achieve this. This is nice. Babaji is, he has said he doesn't have any veils in his heart. I've removed all the veils, and when all the veils are removed, then only reality appears. Masters, they all have beautiful qualities. Can you see the beautiful qualities? The personalities of everyone is beautiful. But our test, he says, our test is to remember him without all these qualities. The true divine personality is colorless. But his smile, the way he treats us, the kindness, giving you something to eat, or interacting. But so his personality like this, we know each master is different personality. So we are drawn to that personality. But the true test is without this personality. That is the true divine personality. And it is harder for master because our personality, I mean, he is to remember all kinds of things about us, because he does remember, isn't he? They say he does not know us. So for him to remember all that, and he has to work on us. So still in his generosity, as he said the beautiful word, they carry us in the beam of love from towards the center. In the Gospel of Ramakrishna, this is very beautiful. Narendra at that time, he said, it is only my master who believed in me throughout. Uniformly throughout, it was only my master. Same goes for our master. And he said, even my mother and brothers did not believe in me uniformly, that is. It was the unwavering trust and love for me that bound me to him forever. He alone knew how to love. And that's very true of our masters. All right. This one, I love this library because Babaji said we have to travel very light as cotton, and that so that we may start our flight towards him with the help of a single push, just a single push. So our Kosha should be so light, so transparent, so refined. And this what are we going to do with this library? All samskara A, B, C, D, D, and everywhere else. We're keeping all these files ready, and the past files, present files, I don't know, 10, 20 years files, 30 years, I don't know, and all kinds of things that also. And then the secret files over here, the one that you said you surrendered to master, and then you keep the second file over there for sometimes you want to refer. So we have so much of baggage, and master said, deposit them in his treasury. That deposit everything in the master's treasure, having no concern with it. And because when we want to go to make that quantum leap, Daji said, not even one or two samskaras can be there if you want to make the quantum leap. So I'm finishing very soon. I think we don't have time for this. So this is just to show that all the koshas get color from the Atman. Okay, it shines through, and it can go be in and out. That is the consciousness. And thank you very much. So we are not the solid people. And Swami Viveka said that we have a very good system already where we can worship God. Or this is Kanha. Kanha, just now people said they are, everything will be, Koshas will be dancing there. It's true. But catch yourself also. This is very nice because there's no contradictions. Everything is natural. So I will come out, and this is how you break your koshas. Okay, I will stop sharing. Close this. All right. So I've done my presentation. I think no time for questions, is there?
We have some questions. Thank you before that, thank you, Sister, for this very in-depth study of the koshas and sharing with us. You have done all the research and made it so much easier for us to understand this very difficult topic. Thank you for that. You did remind us to ask you why we touched the nose and
Yeah.
koshas.
Now can you see the simple thing of everyday actions of walking or doing anything? Because imagine if you have an itch and you can't lift your hand to scratch your nose. So when you scratch, you have that bliss, you have the happiness of being able to scratch your nose. If a person was having a stroke and things like how much he could, after exercise and rehab, when he could lift it and do that, how much happiness that is, you're touching your Anandamaya Kosha. And the self is beyond that. When we go beyond, you're not going to feel all this, that bliss that you're feeling daily. So that is nice to know that every small action is true when you think about it. You have a shower, just have a shower, you feel clean already, you already feel nice. You can sleep like well. So that is how God rewards us every time you do something, you get something.
Okay. And what about what kosha is involved when I say my name?
Vijnana, because
Knowledge.
firm is that knowledge. It is you. Its identity is you.
Knowledge. And the other one, the rent that we pay to Mother Earth, I think you.
That is, the karma, your karma that you do. Otherwise you're a burden to Mother Earth.
Okay.
Why you get a body to do these things and you do it as Master taught us in the correct way. And then she's relieved, she's very happy. And you take care of nature as well, of course, conservation, things like that. So that must be a rent.
Okay. All right. Can I, just a few questions.
Yeah.
We have. Okay. The first one is, can you explain how the koshas work together in an activity?
Okay. We take mostly it's we can take one activity is all about the same. If you think about the simple one everybody does and likes to do is the food lah. We go to some place now, the restaurants are open already, right? And they go, okay, so some of them you want to go to that one to eat that food, sure. So who's going to decide go where, which kosha? That Anandamaya kosha. I want to eat this thing. So because that brings me happiness. So when you're there and we already we think like we want to go to this restaurant because it has this food. But then when you go there, of course the menu will come. So the mind is going to look at it because so many choices, that one will be doing its work. But then the vijnana, what is the price? So the vijnana will come. We better don't do this, especially go to your family, you try to discourage them. But if that fellow's Anandamaya says, forget it, whatever price, I'm going to have it. So once they start doing this and then you send out the order, then once the order, then who else will start working now? Kick in, the prana will start kicking in. It starts kicking in and they start, doing their thing. And when the food comes there, of course, the Annamaya Kosha has to.
Yeah.
So it's how they work.
Interplay of the koshas.
Interplay of the koshas. Yeah, each one has
role to play there.
Vijnana, you see, they lost out to Anandamaya. So that's how sometimes we lose. Intellect is not your best friend when it's clouded and you start following your desires. So it is the best sheath for us to progress. But when it's not in the correct thing and influenced so much by senses, it will become, it lies to you because it wants its desires. So it won't give you a good advice.
Okay. All right. Okay, next one. Should we reduce the influence of the koshas?
I think, Master, you can say you align the koshas so that it works well. You refine it to align it, and so that we have that energy and use it intelligently. We cannot reduce. We have to. The koshas are with us. We are going to use it for everything. We cannot, but we can reduce the way it works in a negative way, and align them to work together, because when they start working together with the refined mind and the intellect, then it all falls into place. Our ego also starts getting refined.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so this brings us to the next question about breaking the koshas. What is the meaning behind Babaji's advice to break the koshas?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking and thinking when I heard. After that, there's also, he's written in another place, which I will give you. Actually, it just means that the solid grossness which we created, our creation, it is our creation which is bringing, you have to remove that. He says, break that edifice. He says that 1,000 years, are you going to do the same thing to the next one? We must change it here. So how, it is not that it's broken. It is not broken. It's about transcending. Actually, it's transcending. So whatever has captivated our mind and is there, so those are the things that need to be got rid of. And he said, you cannot use force. You should not use some kind of mind power to get it. It's not the main destination. The main destination is our goal to be one. That is only happens with love and bhakti. There's no other way. So, but he says in liberation, the koshas are all removed already. So that I do not explain further because I'm not the expert. But he has written there during liberation, koshas are already removed.
Suresh, Suresh, why so quiet? Did he asking?
So he reminds it, don't use force, it's a great blunder if you try to control everything. That's not the way. As I said, that's why I said the perfect life, that is not the way. We aspire for a balanced life. That's how it is.
Okay. Next question.
If I can add to that, sorry, sister, if I add to that, Master said that as we meditate and we get the pranahuti, our atoms start converting, to energy, right? Our atom, every cell start converting, right? So where is that? Then you are converted into energy already. So that's how also it's through it's not only ourselves, but through our meditation. Sorry, can I carry on?
Okay. What practices help the mental sheath that has impure or unwanted tendencies?
I think all our heartfulness practices, I think point A, point B especially. So our thoughts gets regulated, and when we learn to accept things actually. Because a lot of it is that has impure and unwanted tendencies because we don't accept a lot of things. The master keeps on telling us accept, not tolerate, accept it. When you accept, you don't have the tendency of wanting to go and do something wrong against something. And that's all. I think the practices, especially A and B, I think in this, we saw last time in the Satish.
Okay. Can you please explain the gradation of happiness expressed in Anandamaya Kosha?
the Priya, there's a Priya, and there's Moda, and there's Pramoda. So the Priya is like you're waiting for your friend to come after so long. So first thing, she calls you and she tells, okay, I'm coming. Already I'm happy. And then comes the Moda. You already here, she's on the way and she's already reached almost your house. That's already the tradition of more, the Lighten. Is there getting more? And then when you, Pramoda is when she comes and then when you meet and you hold each other. So there's 3 types of, just to know. That also is quite interesting. So the bliss is not just one, it's different gradations.
Okay. All right. And the final question. In the alignment between subtle bodies and koshas, it is said that ahankara is closely associated with the pranamaya kosha, the mind with the manomaya kosha, and the intellect with the vignayamana kosha. What about chit, consciousness?
It is, I feel the consciousness is the canvas where all these things act on it. So when it is the one that gives the color and dynamics to the kosha. I think because Mundaka one is very fast, that now that the koshas can act within, outside, and also it is the consciousness that gives this color to all the koshas. And as we refine the koshas, then the consciousness expands, as I said earlier. But with our practices, it expands. So the consciousness is just giving color to these koshas. It is that mainstay of the whole thing. They are playing on the consciousness.
Like the canvas that.
Yeah, they play on the consciousness. They have no life. They can't function on their own. It is the soul which took the, remember the identity. Then it added this soul, which is consciousness, identity. Then it takes its intellect. Then the intellect needs a mind, and the mind needs the physical and body and the energy to meet. So it is the one that's giving life.
Okay. All right. Are there any questions from the participants? Anything that you would like to ask?
Time's already like.
Yeah. You don't see any in the chat box.
Oh, okay. Today the questions for them, they're very slow to answer. So, but it's quite fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
With that, I think we can come to an end. So thank you so much, sister, for your wonderful presentation. We have definitely gained much insight into this difficult topic. And we thank you once again for your presentation and patience in explaining this
Thank you so much.
topic of Kosha. Okay, with that, thank you, everyone. And
good night.
Yeah, good night. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Brother Kumar and Brother Ramesh.
Yeah.
Heartfulness Malaysia.
Thank you, Brother Kumar, for your technical support. Okay, goodbye, everyone.